I'll show you my calendar. Hey guys, so just looking at my calendar now for the week. We've had the weekend just gone and you can see I've done Brexit of unknown origin as a topic, which is quite a big topic, and I ended up spending a fair bit of time reading about that actually because of all the different conditions that it can cause and learning about all the differences between the infectious diseases and what investigations to do and what countries they're prevalent in and so on. So that was quite a big topic. You can see I spent a lot of time on Saturday and actually on Friday too on that. Anyway, a bit more broadly with my holiday plan, so you can kind of see I've got examinations in the morning, neuro exam, upper limb, lower limb, cranial nerves, multiple sclerosis. The day before I did eyes, ears and cerebellar exam. Then we've got cardiovascular and respiratory exams, thyroid exams, gastrointestinal, and then we've got the ortho exams too. Then we'll eventually head out to cafe. We went to Inside on Saturday and Sweet Brew on Sunday, and then we went to Penny Royal after that actually. Today we went to Stillwater. You can see that I'm quite specific with the topics that I pick, so instead of just sort of blocking out a morning to do peds, instead, well that's probably a bad example because I blocked out a lot of time there. Instead of kind of blocking out a morning here and just calling it all peds, I will write down specifically what subtopic I'm doing in that hour. So we've got non-accidental injury and developmental delay as individual topics, because I think it's quite easy to just sort of say like, oh, a whole half a day on pediatrics, geez, I could get through most of my revision in that time, and I just find that that's not really the case. So I could easily spend probably more like 2 hours on injury and non-accidental injury in peds to get comfortable with that OSCE topic. I do feel like I need to go get my sort of base information back before I can go and shortcut into my little performer and lists of things that I need to do in the OSCE. I like to go back and read about particular conditions. Not all of them are exactly OSCE topics. For example, last night I spent a whole hour and a half, it seems, on just reminding myself of the pediatric history structure, making sure I have all those tick boxes in my head so that I don't miss anything. For example, what's involved in the pre, peri and postnatal history. I find that if you get a really good history and system going, then you're less likely to miss things, even when you go to very specific or advanced topics. If you've got that baseline history that's really thorough, you can just revert to that in times that you need it, and you should still get 80 or 90% of the information out if you do that. So I think that's really important. Yeah, you can see some of these aren't strictly OSCE topics. For example, this one, I was reading through a lecture that included advanced care directives and goals of care, which I think will be subcomponents of OSCEs, so they'll be very relevant and probably relevant to a lot of the management plans that we form for elderly patient OSCEs, whether it's the focus or not. So good to know. Sometimes when I have a new OSCE that I haven't done before, I like to go and read some practice OSCEs first, because then I get an idea of what the OSCE might ask of us. Sometimes it's not very clear. Confusion's one that I have been a bit confused about. Like, what are you going to do with a patient that presents confused? They're not going to be able to give you a very good history. So perhaps it's that they come in with their significant other or carer and you take the history from them. So I'd like to understand where I'll be pitching the OSCE before I make a system to approach it. Then just in my reading on gastro management in pediatrics earlier, I read about ondansetron, so I just wanted to refresh myself on the differences between ondansetron and metoclopramide, and therefore where you might use one or the other. So there are a few little things that aren't directly OSCEs in there but still highly relevant, or just things that I want to learn. Then roughly at the end of the day I do some OSCEs related to topics that I studied on that day or in the days before. I think it's good to practice the OSCE a few days after as well, because then you're reinforcing the information at a later date and not just relying on that really short-term memory, but hopefully you can see if you're consolidating and holding on to that information a bit more. I have lots of breaks and sometimes I really get stuck studying. Like, this was a long slog here, so there are lots of different things I do if I want to keep studying but I'm really not feeling it physically. I think it's really important that you do things that kind of like change your state, because you can feel very sluggish when you study a lot. Music is a massive one I use. I flip from using music to not using music over cycles of a few hours. My friend Laura Hutchins, she has just made her own YouTube channel, so I've been listening to her stuff recently. because she's amazing. So check her out. I'm sure you'll love her like I do. And we go for walks, or we literally change the location that we're in. So we'll go out to a cafe, go to a different cafe, come home, go outside and go for a walk. Sometimes a little bit of exercise feels really good, or I'll go and do another productive task. So I was using my editing for my last Surge vlogs as a bit of a break as well, just because it's something really different to do. And I also just like to watch YouTube. So yeah, there's some of the things that I do for a break. Reason I like to use iCalendar is because I can swap and change things. So originally I had pediatric developmental delay at this time today, and I just wasn't really feeling it. So I decided to drag my psych over from when I was planning to do it on Wednesday, I think. And I'm gonna do it now. And then I've got the rest of Peds planned to do on Wednesday. But again, you know, I've planned out an hour for each of those topics. I'm probably not going to get them done in an hour because it's not how I want to study at the moment. I want to be a bit more thorough. Then when it comes to swap back in 7 weeks, I will be able to just do 1 hour revisions of these topics because I'll have my base from this week. I feel like blocking out the time and seeing the subjects in the context of the day is really helpful to me, as opposed to just having a list of things to do. And I've taken these topics from the Word document list that I made earlier, and you can see that I've deviated heavily from my break week plan, but it's because yeah, like I said, I wanted to kind of do a bit of everything. I didn't really feel like sticking to one topic. I'm not expecting to actually get all this done. A lot of it I've sort of put in here as options. So, you know, if injury and non-accidental injury takes me 2 hours or 3 hours, then I'll substitute out some other topic to do that. And I can either shift them to another day and substitute them out with another topic on another day, or I can just shift them along to my studying in the weeks to come. So the yellow is my uni study, and I would usually delete these as day goes by. So for example, even as the morning goes by, I would delete it as the time passes, while I'm ticking off my topics in my OSCE list that I talked about doing earlier in the piece. I've just kept them in here for the sake of showing you guys how I sort of plan to do things. For example, I'm looking at tomorrow, and I'm probably, right now I'm not really feeling that I want to do these GI sort of topics. So maybe we might flip it and we'll do change in vision. Yeah, we'll do change in vision, and we'll do vertigo. Yes. Oops. I will definitely, oh, there's my tutor session 2 there. I'll definitely need more than an hour to revise vertigo. Eep. Yeah, and then I'll probably want to do those ones tomorrow. Tonight I'm going to revise the hematological exam structure, because I really briefly did that last year. I didn't do it probably very thoroughly, so I need to look over that so that I can plan to do that in the morning before Aaron goes to work. Okay, enough. I hope that's somewhat helpful, just having a look at how I very roughly plan my stuff. By no means is this set in stone, and that's the point. I love that it's dynamic, easy to change, and it always gives me options of things to do if I'm feeling stuck or if I'm feeling bored of the topic that I'm on. My schedule's not set in stone, but I feel like I'm really often really productive. Okay, I'm gonna get onto this psych stuff now. Need to now. Okay. Rubbish bins in the background. Okay, hey guys, it's Wednesday at lunchtime. I'm just wandering myself over to the hospital to visit my pop again. I'm delivering him a newspaper and some licorice. This morning I had a little change of plans with the examinations I did. I realized I wanted to do a bit more consolidation on my hematological exam to actually understand what the signs meant. So instead of doing that one, oh, I'm out of breath walking and talking. So instead of doing the hematological exam, I did the cardiovascular, respiratory, and lower limb vascular ulcer type exam, / diabetic. Then after that, I spent a few hours working on the hematological exam and looking things up related to that and making a nice structure that I can learn and follow. It's easy to remember. And then I moved on to working on my elderly OSCEs, which for me in that category, I sort of just put delirium, falls, dementia, etc. And so delirium is an area that I think I'm really lacking in. It wasn't really an expected OSCE for last year, so I didn't do much of it. So I've got a lot of reading to do around that, and I would like to also make a really strong structure for that one as well that I can work off to make sure I don't miss anything, because there are so many different causes and lots of things to think about in the management. Not only the social history and the non-pharmacological management, but also things like sedation and guardianship and those types of things that come into play when somebody is in an acute confusional state. So yeah, I've done a bit of that. I've been looking at some OSCEs related to it, and then I'm having my break now and I'm going to go back this afternoon and just keep working on that. And I'm finding that quite interesting at the moment, so that's all good. So yeah, Aaron's off to his new job today, first day. He's off to a Canon event tonight in Launceston as a part of Dark Mofo, which is a part of Mona in Hobart, so that's pretty cool. Don't really know what it's going to be about yet, but a bunch of passionate people getting together, I think. Always a good thing. Alright, see you guys.
Can't run from what I feel inside. There's no more time to hide, because I feel again, I feel again. Oh, now I feel again. We're bringing this back to life. Help me find the right words to say to get us back on our way. Can we try to fight against the grain of throwing out what we made? The future's far away, but I will stay, because I feel again, I feel again. Oh, now I feel again. We're bringing this back to life. We're picking up where we left off and on again. We never quite could forget, 'cause what we got so intense.
Hey guys, it is Sunday, the 25th of June. Oh my gosh, it's nearly July. Believe it or not, it is the next Sunday, despite the fact that I'm wearing the same outfit that I wore last Sunday. This morning I have practiced OSCEs with James at the clinical school. We just went and gave each other 3 each. So we also practiced on Friday afternoon as well. So we started our sort of official practice coming out to our OSCEs. It's now 6 weeks out on Tuesday from our official final exam OSCEs. He's the person that I'm only practiced with last year. We're going to practice maybe twice a week for the next few weeks. Unfortunately, in 2 weeks time he's going off to rural GP, so I've only got 2 weeks left practicing with him, so we'll probably practice on the weekends hopefully after that. Like I said, practicing OSCEs is really the only way you will do well at them, in my opinion. It's all good to know all the information, but if you can't translate it quickly and spit it out and put it into patient friendly terms and have a good manner while you're doing it, I think you'll have trouble with OSCEs. So practice makes perfect. So yeah, we did 2 OSCEs each on Friday night. We did 3 each this morning. He gave me one on GCS, one on paranoid schizophrenia, and one on post-op fever, which is a really good one for 5th year. So we're going to practice again on Wednesday after we give our tute to the 4th years, because we give tutes to the 4th years together, and then we have our mock OSCEs on Thursday night. So I don't get to go to body pump, but it's really good to have that practice. And they are cases that are picked by our school, so they should hopefully be at the level that we'd be expected to be performing for our final exams. So it's really nice that they do that for us. My OSCE study, to be honest, is not really going by my plan anymore. I guess I made my plan based on how I was studying last year, and because I've done a lot of the researching and learning and understanding the concepts last year, this year a lot of what I'm doing is actually revision, just kind of sticking it back in my head and being able to regurgitate it again. So I guess the studies ended up very different. It's sort of more intense because I'm really trying to put the information back in and then apply it, as opposed to just researching, which is more of a break. I think it's less intense. And so when I do study at the moment, it's quite difficult, so I'm making sure I'm taking regular breaks, and I'm making sure after I do a little bit of studying, I do the actual applying bit and try and rewrite out my OSCE plan, and where possible do an actual OSCE with Aaron just at home. So I'm very lucky to have him, and because of that at the moment I'm not needing to spend days and days on one topic. Instead I'm just doing whatever topic, picking whichever topic I feel motivated to do at the time and doing that, and at the moment I seem to be making really good time, so I have a bit of a luxury to pick and choose to do and redo topics that I'm interested in, with the condition for myself that I go back and actually study the things that I'm not feeling at some point, just to balance it out. At the moment it is 12 o'clock, so studying with James from 10, and now we're going into Sweet Brew for our normal Sunday to have some coffees, and then we'll probably go on to, where will we go after that? We have to go to Pennyroyal after Sweet Brew. Or Stillwater, yeah, I haven't been to Stillwater for a little bit. What am I saying? We went 2 weeks ago. Yesterday we just did gym in the morning and then went to study at Inside Cafe. We saw Kirsty and Jonas, who's Aaron's sister and brother-in-law, and their new little baby. She's just 6 weeks old. So that was really nice. study on my bed a lot, guys. If you're gonna spend a lot of time with me. I have no problem with this idea of mixing. Like, I don't get tied up in not being able to relax in my room. If there's any trace of study in my room, that's not me. I like to be as comfy as possible when I'm studying. And that often means switching between sitting up at a table. We have a dining table and we have a massage table in the front room, which I use for a secondary purpose. I study on it. If I have a day of study, or if I'm gonna study for more than a few hours, I'll often switch positions because I'm not really that comfortable just sitting down at a desk either. So I'll kind of go from like laying on like my hand like this on bed, to sitting up on my bed, to sitting in the front room and I'm studying at my desk. Maybe I should utilize the dining table too. But yeah, my whole house is mixed study, relax space. It's not that big, so you know, you can't really be excluding areas. So yeah, comfy study. Do other things too, like especially if I have to study for a long day or if I'm not feeling it, I'll turn on the diffuser, switch between music on and off all the time. If I'm really desperate, I'll get up and do some exercise, but generally I'll just wander around if I need a bit of a state change. I also listen to podcasts in the middle sometimes if I really want to get out of study, because usually they're completely different topics, non-medical at all, that I love listening to. What else do I do? Sometimes I make a hot drink too, but I can't drink coffee after probably about 1 p.m. I can't drink coffee after 1 p.m. otherwise I won't be able to get to sleep when I want to. 6 weeks out tomorrow, guys. Final exams. So I need to finish as well. Like I said in my previous goodbye video, I'm currently looking at author's instructions for my reflective piece too. So I need to pick some journals to go for to see if they'll publish my piece. What else? Tomorrow we're going to give feedback to the 4th years for their mock OSCEs that we put on for them. Hopefully we'll be able to say something mildly helpful. For your OSCE schedule. Turn my music up too loud. My pre-exam schedule for the last 5 years has been listening to music right before my OSCEs. In that sort of like last few moments where you just sort of surrender to it, you're like, this is all I know right now. And I've just got to roll with it. I mean, mock OSCEs are no big deal, but I really like to use them as a good practice. Probably the best practice that you can get before your proper OSCEs. Getting into a different environment makes a big difference. So it's really nice to practice under those circumstances and practice with the OSCEs that the schools pick for you and sort of do all the tasks that they want you to do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to going and doing some practice OSCEs now. It's just turned 5 o'clock, so I should wander over to the uni now, and they're just at our clinical school in the next building upstairs in the OSCE rooms that I showed you. I'm gonna wander over now, and my first station starts at 5:30. We're doing 6 stations. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Everything went well with SALSA today. Students came up with some really good plans for how to implement some health activist activities in the school, so that was really awesome. They were just such an easy group. I think they were collectively a group of all very studious and respectful and quite mature students, so it was very, very easy to work with them. And yeah, I think the day was fun. So yeah, going to tonight, I'll probably just relax after these are done at a bit after 7 tonight and go back to the wards at 8:30 in the morning for another day of Gen Med. Time management. I needed a reminder that I need some good time management. So that's my takeaway for tonight.